CCTV and the Wexford-Missaukee Intermediate School District are proud to present Celebrating Success with your host, Dave Cox, Wexford-Missaukee ISD Superintendent. Join us monthly as we talk with people making a positive difference in our community.
Hi, welcome to another edition of Celebrating Success. I'm your host, Dave Cox. This is one of my favorite things to do in my job as a superintendent for the Wexford-Missaukee ISD, is to have a host every month. This month we have Paris Philo, who is the Wexford-Missaukee Manistee ISD Early Childhood Contact. But before we get to Paris, welcome Paris, though. Thanks for being here. My favorite part about this is not just our hosts, but the fact that this show is 100% written, produced, directed by students in the Wexford-Missaukee ISD Career Tech Center Digital Media Production Program. The students behind the cameras are all second-year students, and we've got some students behind me that are in the control room, if you will, controlling everything, headsets, microphones, making sure everything's flawless. It's great. You can see them back here. I love it. We got Bear Lake Bobcats. We got Mesig Bulldogs and Pine River, what was it? Pine River. Yeah, love it. Anyway, so thank you very much. Paris, pretty cool. Thanks for being here again. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks
for
having me.
Awesome. Thanks. So, early childhood contact. Talk to me about that. What is that? What is that?
All right. Well, it is an interesting name. Every ISD holds the Great Start Readiness Preschool Program Grant. And within that grant for the ISDs, there's a contact, and that is me. And we also have specialists. So my work is, if you think about my work, it's kind of in two buckets. So I have my internal work that I do with our programs, our partner programs that run our preschools. And that's setting up contracts and doing budgets and some monitoring and just supporting them to run a high quality preschool program. And then the other part of my job is like the community facing part of it, and where we help the community come together to see the vision of early childhood, what it is, what's high quality, how do we support parents, how do we get businesses involved, to supporting early childhood in general, and then also meeting with other, like I'll participate in the early childhood meetings. Sometimes we meet with our governments, our local government, our state government, and then and I also sit on some boards. So overall, my job has a lot of moving pieces.
It certainly sounds like it. Let's just back up a little bit. You mentioned preschool. So when you talk about early childhood, this isn't a daycare situation. Get a little deeper dive into that so people understand really what is a Great Start Readiness Program, and explain that, because I think for the most part our viewers know what a kindergarten classroom is, but it sounds like preschool, you're doing something at that ages that are younger. So
Yes.
let's dive into that a little bit. It's not a daycare situation, it's a school?
It is. So the Great Start Readiness Program, most people know it as GSRP, and that's Michigan's state-funded preschool program.
So no cost to parents?
It is no cost.
Okay.
That's the great thing. You do have to be 4, and you have some other eligibility qualifiers, and you have to meet a certain income range. But it's an excellent program. We run 25 classrooms between Wexford, Missaukee, and Manistee, or with partners.
Three counties.
Yeah, we have 3 counties. Wow. So we have partners in every school districts that are running a GSRP preschool program, and we also have programs that are Head Start, which is preschool that's federally funded, and we also have opportunities to work with our tuition. So when we offer PDs,
What's a PD?
A PD is a professional development, professional learning, and we'll invite some of our tuition programs in the area to participate, so that we're all learning really high quality practices for young children.
Speaking of young, what's the age grade? I mean, typically kindergarten's 5 years old, right?
Yeah.
So how, 4, 3, how early what are the age?
So GSRP is for 4-year-olds only. So we follow the school guidelines. So early entry kindergarten is, before September to December 1st. You can be in that, but typically our children are in the 4-year-old range before September 2nd. Okay. And then Head Start can take 3 and 4-year-olds in their program. But early childhood is really birth through age 8. And so our state
Those
is
important years, right?
Yeah,
that foundation.
They're foundational years, and our state has really moved on that and is working to do some alignment and helping all parties, even K through 12, understand how important early childhood birth through age 8 is.
So again, going back to the word school, right? I'm picturing a typical kindergarten class. So what does it look like in these facilities? Are they in schools? Are they in a building? Are they in a residential neighborhood? And is there like a curriculum? Is there seats? Give us a little. What is a day like? What does it look like?
How much time do we have? So we have partner programs with 4 LEAs, so Bear Lake
It's an LEA, local education?
Yep,
Is that what
local
that? Yep.
education. Thank you for
Yeah,
catching me
that's
on
okay.
my
Acronyms are a lot. I know, we
They
gotta make sure our
are.
viewers know what we're talking about.
They
Yeah.
are. I appreciate that. So our locals, we have a GSRP program in McBain, and we have a GSRP program in Bear Lake, in the Manistee area, and we have partner programs, and also Cadillac. We have partner programs with Head Start, and also, so we have Head Start partners with our NEMSCA, which is Northeast Michigan Community Action Agency, and also NEMCA. So every district is covered by a GSRP preschool program or a Head Start program. So sometimes they're in a school building and sometimes they're not. Our local YMCA has a classroom.
Oh, no kidding.
So it's nice when we are able
Right here
to-
in Cadillac is the one.
Yeah.
Okay. So Paris, let's wrap this up, not wrap it up, but in the sense of the picture. Give a little bird's eye view. If I'm looking through the window, what do these classes look like?
Yeah, I'd love to. So if you're looking at a high quality preschool program, you should see tons and tons of play. So although we have a state-approved curriculum that we use, we also do screenings and assessment. It's all done through play because that's how developmentally young children learn the best. So we are embedding literacy instruction, math, science, lots of social emotional learning, which is kindergarten teachers love that, that children can attend to themselves, they can play with others well, they can follow directions. So all of these things you should see when you walk into a classroom. And we follow a daily schedule too. So the children, I had the opportunity to take the general ed director to a few of our preschool classrooms so that when we share our data 3 times a year, that she really is, that data can come alive. So she can really see how we embed math into everyday routines and how we're embedding literacy instruction. And so that was so helpful, and but it's all based on play.
So you mentioned what a day looks like. As far as is it all day? I mean, is there lunchtime? Is it?
The nice thing about our programs is they're typically all day, 4 days a week. Fridays.
4 days.
4 days, Monday through Thursday. Our teachers work 5 days, but that 5th day on Friday, it's they'll take that time to do some planning, looking at their data and planning. And we also have professional learning, and we also have professional learning communities in which our teachers come together and share best practices with each other, and all 3 of our counties and our 2 ISDs. So that Friday is really important to them. And some of our programs have wraparound care, so they're able to go into...
What's wraparound care?
Wraparound care might be tuition. So like our Viking Learning Center also has a tuition childcare in there. And so some of those families are able to go right to tuition. And some of the families will stay with their mom or dad or grandparents. So it works out well. We do have the capacity to run a half-day program, but we have found that majority of parents, because they are working, tend to like a full day. So typically they come in around 8:30 and they leave around 3. But
Similar to any normal school day.
yeah, we definitely take care to make sure that they have rest time, they have
Is there
uninterrupted
recess
play
besides
time.
play? Is
Oh,
there recess?
yeah.
We all
Oh, yeah.
love recess.
Yes, a high quality preschool program will have a combination of teacher-led activities, but also a lot of time in where the children just can play freely. And it's a time for the teacher to observe them, see where their skills are at, and then also participate with them in that type of play. So that's really important. So our day is typically, they'll come in, they'll have some type of choice time while we're waiting for everyone to come, and there's always a snack. And then they'll go to a large group time where they all come together and the teacher talks to them about their day. And sometimes they have like a question of the day and things that gets kids thinking. And then there's free choice time and music time and outdoor time.
Nice.
And rest time and lunch. And then in the afternoon, they'll do similar things. So they'll wake up from rest time and have a snack, and then go outside to play, and then have some time with their teachers and peers.
So I got several other questions as you're talking. One of them is, you keep mentioning teachers. Are these teachers that are like certified teachers? These are, I mean, you know what I mean, like a teacher in an elementary building sort of thing? Or, I mean, they have to be certified?
They, all of our teachers have teacher certification with an early childhood background. Or they have a bachelor's degree in early childhood education. So one of the things about the Great Start Readiness Program, it's a nationally recognized model for an early childhood preschool program. So Michigan has received that honor in the past 3 years. I don't think the new has come out, but there's only a few states. I think last year there was only 5 states that received that recognition.
Wow.
That we have those
You
quality.
did?
Yeah.
How cool
we
is that?
did.
That's awesome.
The state
That's
of Michigan
great.
did. That our
Wonderful.
program model ensures all those high quality indicators that children really need.
That's wonderful.
To do well.
That's wonderful. And then you mentioned professional development, that teacher, you can build on their, whatever their certification or their skill set is, you can build on that as they continue to work with those students. That's part of that program as well.
Right. I mean, just the same as any profession, that they will want to know what the newest research is, or to be able to hone their skills. You know, we do that in early childhood as well. So we have ISD professional development, and all the teachers develop their own log with their coach.
Okay.
And then we provide some through the ISD, which is really great. I think I was telling you a little while ago, we had a national trainer come in, and they talked about the outdoor learning space, and that was on a Friday. And
Outdoor learning space. Tell us about that. Yeah.
Well, the outdoor learning space, of course we have recess-ish and free time to play, but also the outdoor and mealtime, for young children, that's just an extension of their learning. And so you can look and see and help them build on their math skills and their social skills and their language skills and just their love of learning by having an environment that's set up to play and learn.
With that embedded, with the math stuff. So maybe it might be doing something, playing either inside or out in these outdoor learning, and not even.
Yeah.
Fair to say? The teachers are just embedding it.
It's fun, and you know, our veteran teachers are really excellent at that. I mean, they're just learning while they play, and when they do that, that's when the retention happens. You know, children who are just you know, verbalizing 1, 2, 3, they still might not know that this is 3 or there's 3 pens. So you really have to play and engage in it constantly for children to grasp that. And you know, we're just building on the things that their parents are doing at home. But to go back to that training, so we had the speaker come in, and then she talked about not only can you just be in your play area, sometimes you can go to the beyond. So maybe it's just right by the fence where a tree's poking over, and allow children to explore that and you know, really make it a yes environment. That's what early childhood is about, learning and exploring, and have a yes environment. And by Tuesday, we had one of our teachers over in the Bear Lake School Districts at K&D send us a video and tell us about how much the children engaged in this beyond. And what I really like about that is the things that she was talking about, approaches to learning, language, math, those are great in preschool, but those are also the things that you're looking for in kindergarten through 12th grade, is that high level engagement, new vocabulary, working with others in a project, you know. So even if that for a small child might be like moving a log over closer, you know, a small log. So we love to see that, and that's really part of that foundational skills.
On that, you had mentioned that social emotional piece, just the social piece of that, right? Getting that student maybe a little more prepared to a kindergarten class of 25 or 30 students, right? That piece of that. So with that said, how big are your programs? How many students are in one class?
Yeah, so not only do we follow the Great Start Readiness implementation guidelines, all of our programs also have to be licensed from the state of Michigan. So licensing is like health and safety. So they talk about ratios and how safe the program is. So all of our programs have to also meet that. And so our ratios are, most of our classrooms are either 16 or 18, and we have a lead teacher and associate teacher, and some of our classrooms are able to also have a classroom aide.
Nice,
and
good
so
ratios, yeah.
It's great ratios. So when we're doing small group work, working on a really specific skill or activity, you can have like a 1 to 6. And that's really great to get that one-on-one with kids. And
especially, again, at that foundational
and
level.
to understand really where they're at.
Right.
Because,
Awesome.
like I said, we do assessment 3 times a year, and we share those with parents.
The assessment meaning, so you kind of measure the students, for the lack of a better word, skill set of where they're at when they come in, maybe at the halfway point and then at the end of that year. And you look for that growth, right?
We do look for that growth.
Is that then shared then with the next grade? If they're going on to kindergarten, the kindergarten teachers get that information?
Yeah.
And it's like handing the baton off. Here, this one's, yeah.
It
right.
is. And that's one of the things that we really are really striving to do is transitioning, helping families and children transition into a preschool program well, and then helping them transition out well. Transitions are part of every child's day, and sometimes those can be really difficult when you're young.
Yeah,
and so, we support parents. So when we have a conference, we have our data there, and it's all written so teachers and parents can be really on the same page. And so we'll say, like, this is where they're at with the widely held expectations for their age. This is what we're working on, and this is where they're ready to go. And and then hopefully this is where they'll want to be. And it's really exciting to see our baseline data, and then our mid, and then our end. And there's just so much growth that happens. And it happens where children are just playing and learning. And it's not uncommon for a teacher that's been around for a long time to have a high schooler come in and say, "You were my favorite teacher."
At the very beginning of
So those
awesome.
things that you learn when you're in early childhood years, through 8 years old.
They're so important, aren't they?
They stick.
Again, that foundation. And you mentioned, and I'm going to go back to a little bit, you mentioned transitions, and I'm wondering, you also mentioned Viking Learning Center. So I'm assuming that's a Cadillac Area Schools program?
Yes.
So how do they transition to get there? Is there a bus that picks these students up, or is it all parent? How do they get to these programs?
Well, parents are children's first and best and most impactful teacher. So what we try to do is give parents options. So we really hope that that programs can provide transportation, but they can't. Sometimes they can't. Some programs can't.
Sure.
And then some parents choose to drive their children because they're already taking older siblings. So we just really work with the parents to choose what works for them. Okay. But typically there are busing, and the kids will sit in the front, and they may have a harness based on a certain age, that type of thing.
Sure. So let's go back to the very beginning. You talked about eligibility. So if we have a viewer that's watching this, mom, dad, grandparent, whatever, guardian, how can they get their 3 or 4-year-old into these programs? Let's dive into that just a little more so they fully understand.
Sure. Well, the great thing about our program in our community is we do centralized enrollment in Wexford and Missaukee counties. And so there should be flyers everywhere. But if not, we do enrollment with our Head Start partner agency. So in Wexford and Missaukee, that is NEMCA, which is Northeast Michigan Community Action Agency. And so if you would go to nemca.net, you would see right there, enroll in preschool. Or they can call the phone number. They can ask any school about a preschool program, and they will let them know who to contact. And they can also go to the Great Start to Quality website and then find all licensed programs, including GSRP and Head Start. And then our partners in Osceola, which are Pine River and Marion, they would go to NEMSCA Head Start, and that's NEN.
Just because that's in that
yep,
county.
Yep.
Okay.
So our Head Starts are in certain counties, and then with our ISD, we overlap into some of the other counties. And then in MISD, they would contact their school district, and they would connect them. And often, right when you call, like when you call Bear Lake, it'll say, if you're looking for the preschool program, click this number. Okay. So,
is there any waiting list that the parent or someone have to worry about, or is it strictly the
you know
what I mean? Are they full? It's what, December now?
Yeah.
When can they enroll? Can they enroll now? They didn't know about it until today, or whenever they saw this clip. How would I?
Well, we encourage parents to enroll at any time, and we'll still, if we have an opening or a family moves, we'll enroll them, even if they get 6 weeks of programming. We're typically done in the 1st of June. Right now, we have a little bit of openings without waiting lists in a couple of our programs in Cadillac, and then some of our programs in Falmouth and Lake City. And so we highly encourage you to, if you're even thinking about preschool, it is fun and the children love it. And sometimes even when parents are like, I'm not so sure, within a week or two, the kids are like, yep, see you, bye.
They're ready.
We're ready, Mom
Sure.
and Dad. So I'd encourage you to reach out at any time, and when you contact us, we just help you through that whole process.
Meaning, because part of that was you had mentioned, because it's federally funded, some of them, whether it's Head Start
State funded,
and state funded, because so there's limitations to who can actually get in, and it's based on probably a family's income, right?
Yeah.
Versus can you afford the tuition preschool or these ones? So all
Well,
that.
right, and even if families think they're over income, we still encourage them to apply, because we can help them know which programs they are eligible, and we have play groups through our Great Start Collaborative. But for a family of 4, they can make almost $70,000 and still qualify for Great Start Readiness Program. And again, you're getting some of the highest quality preschool program you can have for free.
That's great.
And it's and that's a lot of fun for them.
You need to take me around. You had mentioned you took the general education director around. I want to go with you and see some of these programs, because I heard play, and I'm going to get down and play with them. So what are you most proud of? I mean, let's go back to, what is Paris Philo most proud of as it comes to the hat that you wear as the early childhood contact?
Oh gosh, there are so many things. Our ISD doesn't run our own programs. So in some parts of the state, they might, or sometimes they do a little bit. So, working with all of our local education districts and our community partners takes a lot of work. And so I'm really proud of the relationships that we've built and the collaboration, because it's really strong. Even when we have other people come into our program, they'll say, wow, you have really great collaboration here. And that's not me. That's
your team.
That's the whole
that's
team in Wexford, Missaukee, and Manistee. So
that's
I'm really proud of that. And I'm obviously so proud of the work that our local teachers and GSRP administrators do, and the coaches. We all know the last few years have been
tough. Yeah.
Been really tough, and we have some of our little kiddos coming in and families who haven't really been anywhere in a few years, and it's very scary sometimes to let your 4-year-old go into these programs. And so the work that our teachers do and the people that support our teachers, it's top notch.
Awesome.
Yeah,
thank you. I love it. Thank you very much, Paris. Our special guest was Paris Philo, the early childhood contact for the Wexford, Missaukee, Manistee Great Start Collaborative, Great Start everything. I mean, it's really all about Great Starts, getting these young children a good foundation before they move on to kindergarten. So thank you for joining us. Thank you for this edition of Celebrating Success. Have a great day.
Thank you.